Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is the J08, also known as Jeremy J. Guillory. We also
Oh, you're
have.
green again.
You sure I'm
Green
green?
again. Yes, you are on my end. I'm not. I think I'm on live right now. I'm gonna have to hook me back up.
Yeah.
Oh, hold a minute. Hold a
Yeah.
minute. I think I
Yeah.
see it.
So, yes. So,
All right, I said notifications. Just oh, you're off. Okay. Let
okay.
me try something here. Oh, that's just that. That's from earlier. Okay. I'm. That's from earlier.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm just on regular podcast, but I don't think we're live. You haven't given me the live feed yet. That's what I'm waiting for. Oh,
Well,
you did
we're
2 minutes
we're
ago.
we're, we're live
Well,
now.
you,
We're live now.
okay.
So
Okay,
it's
I
on
was making
Facebook
sure.
Live right now.
Okay, I was making
So
sure. 'Cause last time you
yeah,
sent me
yeah,
the
we're actually streaming live right
I was
now.
making sure. Sorry, folks. My internet has a little problem lately this week. I had some errors all week. I had no errors just now, so sorry about that.
Yeah, yeah.
It
So
happens once in a while.
let's try this again. This is the J08, also known as Jeremy J. Guillory. That's Classic Mike.
My classic my here, and you're Mr. Green.
Today
Here's
we
Country.
are going to be talking about times wrestling got real, part 2,
Mm-hmm.
part
Yep. It's
dos.
part one already. Let's see how it goes this time.
Yes. So last time we did this,
So funny with Tim Green.
we did this with Bobby Nose, um, and we talked about different things regarding this topic, and basically, there was just so much to talk about that we didn't even get to finish.
Lots to talk about.
Yes,
Especially recent events for the last several months of
yes,
impacts.
yes. So,
Not that wrestling
re-
attack group with the ring and
yeah,
draw. Not
yeah.
what the other
So,
real fans.
so one of the big topics with wrestling recently is that they're starting to lose their kayfabe. So, what that
Yep.
means is that you're seeing more and more promotions going either off script or into more realistic aspect sometimes. Is that helping or hurting wrestling as a whole, do you think?
It all depends. All depends which way wrestling's going.
Yeah.
When it wasn't kayfabe, when it was kayfabe, and not kayfabe again. It goes back and forth every few years. Depends on what the promoters want. Try and get fans back watching wrestling. Wrestling's starting to go downhill. Especially WWE and all wrestling is just showing the same old things every week and try to do kayfabe change everything. It's not going to work. I'm saying that it's okay to do it, but do it at a certain time. People will actually tune into it. They'll just go back and forth. That's been going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth every week. One day it's kayfabe, one day it's not. Especially for the fans, because fans can turn off on it. You gotta make whoever the new company took over, he's gotta know what they're doing. They can't just throw everybody in the ring or deny any suggestions from people who actually worked there for a long time.
Yeah.
It's totally stupid. Corporates are like that.
So, one of the most annoying things is that if you recall in the PLEs, Triple H and WWE would have the press conferences immediately afterwards, and some of the reporters were just asking like really bad questions to Triple H that caused him to stop having the press conferences that way.
Yep.
And when you watch those press conferences would get so cringy that he would try to stay in character, but also be like, dude, just let the story play out. You're asking for spoilers. We're not going to do spoilers on this thing. And I agree with him. You should not have spoilers on a press conference for something like that.
Well, they're doing that for discredit wrestling and get rid of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
So,
trying to do is saying wrestling doesn't make much money like it used to, but they're saying that because you got a lot of nature reporters out there.
yeah.
Ever since that 2020 incident, a lot of nature reporters started getting on their cases after that.
Yeah.
Back in '82, it's been going on like that for years. Press
Yeah.
conferences and stuff like that, trying to find juicy stuff to put out there before they get any things like some storylines. Like, for example, people were trained to wrestling organization. They spoil it 3 weeks in advance by even show first.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So,
That's what they're trying to do.
yeah. So,
Paying insiders who are working for the company stuff to spoil it.
yeah. So, another thing that's been going on with wrestling is that we've also gotten two different perspectives from wrestlers, current wrestlers and retired wrestlers, on the topic of kayfabe. And most of them are kind of the same here. But the thing is that with what we had with Doug from last week was that he wants more kayfabe into the wrestling shows, and no, and it'd be 100% kayfabe on the storylines and the wrestling and everything else, but don't be show off with it. Don't be overly dramatic to show that there's kayfabe. Bobby, on the other hand, Bobby, on the other hand, on this topic, on part one of this episode, he said that he would rather it be more realistic, to where the only thing that is kayfabe would probably be either the outcome or the spots itself, and that's it. And I kind of do agree, because if you have a match planned up for a big event, and you know that's for a championship match for, let's say, SummerSlam, and beforehand there's a PLE or an event where the champion is having to defend their title against someone else, and you know that that champion's going to win anyway because of how big of the draw it is. What's the point in having that match? Because you know that they're going to win.
Not necessarily, not all the time. Everyone's a whole winner match. He didn't win every match. He had to lose 2 matches. He kept winning. The James broke down and get sick of it. He definitely has to lose once in a while. Keep the fans intrigued and root for the guy getting the belt back. The times change, people change. We always don't like changes, getting all that, but times are changing. Like, they change the time. You can't stay, totally kayfabe. And whatever, you can't say we can try to mess together somehow. Stay with the current times, because current times now people are interested in more extreme, more all that stuff, more like boxing and all that. A lot more violent, more realism. That's what you gotta start doing. Make it more real. Looks like start reminding me look of the Attitude plus the PG era mixed together, which doesn't work great. But they gotta do something. You can't just say one straight line they did the last 5 years. That's what they've been doing. They haven't changed anything year anyplace else. They gotta change with the times. If you don't change with the times, you're not gonna have the fans. You're gonna lose everything.
Yeah.
Like some independents are changing with the times, but AEW and TNA are the only two who are trying to stay the same. I don't know why. TNA's trying to struggling right now because NXT's doing the BS with them, which I think is wrong. They know TNA's going to beat them. So why just get rid of NXT altogether? Get rid of the contract. All they want to do is buy the company and come out. So TNA's going to kick their ass. I think they did in the first place. I think they took Joan Henry. I think taking the former champion from last week, he's gone. He's going to WWE. They're all mid-carders. They're not going to be champions for a long time. If the rest of this still intact. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
But before we continue, sometimes we start talking, your mouth goes fast a little bit because your track's a little off. You start talking.
It
slow
could
and it goes
be.
fast.
Yeah, it could
But
be
just let you
the
know,
brand.
what's going on.
Yeah, it could be the bandwidth and things like that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's some problems with it. Just like, you know what, in case you want your back again. You still turn green, so
Yeah.
what do we do about that? Love
Yeah.
to hear you.
Yeah.
So, love to hear you.
So, anyway, let's see. So, what are some examples that you know of times that wrestling has actually gotten real?
They're all mid-carders. Like I said before, the other matches. Let's see what else. Some box matches got a little real recent years. Getting too violent. Same thing with Steiner's getting too violent more, hurting people a little more. What else got real? Oh yeah, when fans trying to stop a new for backstage brawl at Disney. You got looked like it was so real. They called the cops and everybody tried to intervene. The cops thought it was real. That was on live TV. It's one thing I covered last time. They thought it was so real, and then Tom Nash attacked everybody outside. They actually called the police department. They found out it wasn't real, but they took him to the hospital anyhow. You know?
Yeah. See,
so over the broadcast.
What are some examples that you know of times that
the family studio that's surrounded by houses that can see the outside of the studio? It's going to happen like that. That's when it got real right there. No one was injured, but it was just everybody thought it was real. It's on the live broadcast where it happened.
Yeah.
All those cops on there were real. They weren't fake.
Yeah.
I actually watched that live. I was shocked.
Yeah.
What happened? Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know anymore. I'm still trying to. Not many matches. You just have to really think about it a little bit more. Any more questions?
There's going to be several different questions here. So we've also seen.
I'm done talking.
Yeah. So we've seen situations where the guys have slapped others in interviews. We've seen different moments in wrestling. The RVD incident, where he was WWE champion, Ryan was Sabu, and they got pulled over, and he had his title stripped because he got a DUI for that. The time that Jim Duggan was pulled over while in the car with the Iron Sheik, they got a DUI on that, and they were in a feud against each other. You know?
Yep, they're just talking in the car about the match. That's what they write with each other. They talk about what they're going to do with the match.
Yeah.
That's what he used to do back then, but it was a no-no. But they didn't care.
Yeah.
Till that happened.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think the one thing that we did not talk about or go into very in depth here was about the wrestling deaths. With as tragic as they are, deaths do occur in wrestling. Um, and we can think of several different instances, whether in the ring or out of the ring. Um, but I think for this segment, we would most likely need to only talk about the ones in ring, such as Gary Albright, La Parka, Owen Hart. Can you think of any others?
A wrestler back in the 70s, Iron Mike DiBiase, he died of a heart attack in the ring.
Yes.
And then a few Japanese wrestler guy, I think, died in the ring too. I forgot what she died of, but it's like back in the 90s.
Yeah.
Let's see, who else? Anymore. They got. It's very hard to figure out who died and who didn't die in the ring.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I don't know those two. I don't know anyone else besides the ones you.
Pereiro Jr.
I know there's injuries and paralyzed in the ring. I know that.
Yeah.
That's like Edge was for a while until he finally got medically cleared.
Do you remember
They got injured. That's the only things that happen in the ring is injuries. It's just regular injuries. Dross got in a wheelchair because of the injury.
Yeah.
After he slipped.
Do you remember the wrestler who Rey Mysterio was in a triple threat with that died in the ring at Triple A? He was going for Ray was going for a 619 and he missed him and the guy slumped over and died. It was
I heard the heart attack, but I didn't know when it happened. I heard the woman got a heart attack and ran through later. I forgot what happened. You should remind me of that. I forgot the guy's name too. His Papa guy in Mexico. Wanted to play Ray.
Yeah.
Sandwich once again.
Yeah. So there's.
I don't know his name for now.
Yeah. Let me Google this guy's name real quick because I know I'm about to boot. I know the guy's name. It's just that it's a Mexican wrestler, so I know I'm just gonna butcher this guy's name up.
Okay. I'm gonna look for myself and vocalize it.
Died in ring Triple A. Pero Aguirre. Yeah. Yes.
2015, Aguayo, but he's known around as Aguayo, but in Mexico he's known as, his real name is Pedro Aguayo Ramirez. He's second generation superstar.
Yeah.
He's one that died in the ring.
Yeah.
I know that I saw him wrestle. He was a good wrestler. Him in the ring, and a lot of wrestlers all the time, nothing happened.
Yeah. So.
They fall all the time, nothing happened.
Yeah. And Ray was actually close to that family too when that happened, and he was just devastated.
His uncle and Girl's father were best friends. They used to wrestle a lot. Their best friends used to tag and wrestle a lot. They respected each other.
Yeah.
That's how families met.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And the thing is that it wasn't all Ray's fault. It was really the ring rope, because the ring rope was tied up a little bit too tight for that move.
Yep.
And he just got hit at the right angle to where it severed his artery. So they just ruled it as a freak accident.
Yeah, that's what they used to use real those wire type ropes that you used back in a long time ago in the 80s. They're using those ropes. They have the safety ropes they got right now. And once they happen, they want to safety ring ropes. So it will happen again. Get rid of the real ones and put other ones in that they got now.
Yeah.
Back then they had all hard wire, basically solid wire.
Yeah.
And do the new stuff to like late 90s, early 2000s. They start making new rings to make it safer.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
New type of thing they use. It's like just like the hard wires, but it's more flexible. You know, it won't hurt you.
Yeah.
Much. That's why I don't see anyone tying to ropes anymore since that incident. Stop doing that. That's what happened.
Definitely. definitely. Um,
Gotta change everything.
yeah, yeah, and that's another thing too is that when injuries and incidents like that happen, you have
Right.
to um, change things up so it does not happen again.
And make it safer.
Yeah,
Because the old ropes are not made for high flyers unless you're way, like, way over 200 pounds. He says, well, lightweights, ropes were made for them at the time. That's what has a problem come off top ropes a lot. You know? It's made for heavier guys. But now you got these new ropes like made for every type of guy. No matter what you are. Make moves look better and
yeah,
safer.
yeah, yeah. So, I mean, stuff like that gets crazy, but what can you say? What
Right?
can you do on that? Um, but if you notice, other than just random accidents like that, most wrestlers who die in the ring die either from mostly just die from a health issue like a heart attack and things. Um,
Yeah, most common.
yeah, the most common is a heart attack. Rarely it's due to a concussion, head injury, or anything like that. Why was it that some of the wrestlers who died in the ring had heart issues like that? Do you think that was just age or drugs or PED?
Drugs.
Drugs?
Because back then they used a lot of drugs, all hard narcotics, a lot of steroids. Steroids can speed up your heart rate, make you more muscle, and can kill you if you take too much of the dose. That's why some of these wrestlers who've been wrestling a long time, since they started out with it, everyone got drugs, so drug free. Still got a heart attack. Look what happened to Eddie Guerrero. He wrestled one night, is fine. Next day he's found dead of a heart attack
Yeah.
with a drug issue.
Yeah.
And same thing with some of these wrestlers. Sometimes those drugs can make you think of suicidal thoughts, give you depression. That's why a lot of wrestlers are more now killing themselves just to get away from depression and the agony withdrawals with drugs. Or any incident happened to them, they can't forget, they can't stand anymore, so depression wins them over.
Yeah.
That's why you
And,
do the dirty D. That's what we call it, dirty D.
yeah.
So,
And of course, now
that's
WWE has that.
What's kind of disease is suicide now. So
Yeah.
it's up high now over the
Yeah.
heart attacks.
Yeah. And now that if you notice, WWE and some other promotions actually have that wellness policy to where if you're found with those drugs, you get 30 days suspension and then 60 days, 9 days, and then termination.
Well, not all are doing it.
Yeah, not
I'm
all.
not mentioning, like two organizations are not doing it. I'm not mentioning their name because they don't have a policy.
Yeah.
They say they don't need a policy. I'm not mentioning who they are because if they're watching, I don't want to get a lawsuit. But I heard this from a lot of people who work there. They did interviews saying that this organization don't mention they don't do a drug policy. And a lot of people are still doing drugs there and they don't even know it. And I'm not sure what it is, because that's one of the few organizations out there that don't do a drug policy because that's unfair.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
So
who they are, but most likely you might think. I'll probably tell you off camera when we get done recording, tell you what we're talking about. That way it won't be
yeah,
public.
yeah. So message to those who want to be wrestlers, who are wrestlers right now. That are watching the show because I just shared to a bunch of wrestling groups that have a bunch of wrestlers on there.
That's why they
I don't
watch.
know.
They watch us fans.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of us fans know what we're doing.
Yeah. So
watching, you see 'em.
big message to them is don't get on drugs, don't get on the PEDs or anything because they will mess you up. And also, if you are on them, get off. Save your life.
If you die, our fans will lose a legend.
Yeah. I do not want to be covering you. I do not want to be covering you on this podcast when we talk about a wrestler's death. I do not want to be talking about you on this podcast at all. Because most of the people that we talk about on this podcast, wrestlers, are no longer living. That are, we,
Hello?
yeah, I'm still here. So there's a few people that are still living. We talked about CM Punk. We talked about Vince McMahon. Who else did we talk about that's still living?
Well, we can't tell CM Punk he doesn't do drugs at all.
Yeah.
He's never,
Yeah,
he doesn't do any drugs. He's clean wrestler. So
Yeah.
you can't tell him because he knows what we're talking about.
Well, I'm talking about who have we talked about in the past episodes.
I know, but I'm saying CM Punk can't tell him not do drugs. He doesn't do
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
let you know.
Yeah, yeah. But, you know, the list of dead wrestlers that we've covered on here far exceed the amount of wrestlers that are living right now. And that to me is disturbing.
Just the wrestlers that died from the drugs, nothing else, not accidents or anything else.
Well,
Just the drugs.
we've covered Vader, who died of a heart attack that wasn't really drug related. We've covered
Nope.
Bam
Not
Bam.
the man, because he had a heart attack at the wheel. He had a heart attack at the wheel. It wasn't drug related.
Yeah,
He just had a heart attack.
yeah.
That's another person.
We've covered Chris Benoit.
Definitely covered. That was controversial, though. A lot of people have to do controversial.
Yeah, yeah. Concussions and things.
We're doing that once. That's it. We're not going to do Chris Benoit, anything but Chris Benoit again, because it was too controversial the first time.
Yeah, yeah. We're not doing no part two on that or anything. We've already covered everything that we could possibly on that.
But I'm not on all podcasts. I took some time off about 8-9 months. I was on all podcasts fighting them to go through the archives. Had a personal
Yeah,
problem to
yeah.
deal with. So
Yeah,
I'm
so-
back.
So, like I said earlier, we are saving this on Facebook Live, and then once it's done recording, I'm putting this onto YouTube and uploading it straight on there. If you're watching this on YouTube now, go back onto the podcast playlist, and you'll see all of the wrestlers that we've covered and all the topics that we've covered. Even
Right.
if you're watching on Facebook Live right now, you can do that.
Covered a lot. What he covered when I wasn't there. So.
Yeah. We've covered a shit ton.
Like 4 or 5 episodes. Like 4 or 5 episodes I think we did when I was gone.
Yeah,
You didn't do too many because you were covering your football.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. Well, I was recovering from my accident, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah. And another one that we had that was never aired was the Bray Wyatt episode.
What happened to that?
It just wouldn't. I tried to send it to myself because remember I was using a different computer at that time, my mother's computer, and it would not. I tried to email it to myself, but the storage on there was so full it would not let me email it. It's saved on her computer, but I cannot share it anywhere on there still. So what I may have to do is I may have to go on there and just upload it onto YouTube without any edits at all and do it that way.
Well, you have to do that's realism right there, you know?
Yeah.
See extra stuff you don't see when you edit.
Yeah,
Might get in trouble for it, but who cares?
yeah,
We're just fans. We're not wrestling experts.
yeah. So, anyway,
Okay.
so when they say the show must go on and
Uh-oh.
a wrestler dies in the middle of the ring, what should come in as priority for the promotion at that point? Finishing the match or having a complete medical stoppage altogether for um, crowd control.
There's a two-part answer to this one. When Owen passed away, got hurt, Vince was going to lose a lot of money if he didn't continue it. Vince was thinking about money, not him. But the fans and the commentators were shocked when they said keep going wrestling. They wanted to stop it. But they were forced, and the fans, they didn't tell the fans about stuff in the arena until at the end of the product, at the end when they found out on the internet. And that's what pissed a lot of people off, saying, why didn't you tell us sooner and put it up for another night? But it's just greedy. Everybody wants money. They don't care about people's deaths. Money is all they cared about at that time. Because that's what we were going to Monday Night Wars and all that stuff. That's what was doing it to Vince's mind. They realized later he should never have done that. That's why Owen's family is connecting with AEW, not WWE. And Vince didn't want it to not connect WWE. Because of what he decided to do. If he decided to stop the event, Owen probably would have been in the Hall of Fame by himself. Well, guy disrespected the family, disrespected the wrestlers, disrespected everybody.
Yeah.
He didn't care.
Yeah.
All he cares is ratings.
Do you remember the time on Raw when Jerry Lawler had his heart attack?
Well, what it is that they wanted to stop the broadcast, but everyone knew he was having a heart attack. That heart attack, no one knew Owen died. The arena did not know. But everybody knew in the broadcast Jerry had a heart attack. And Jerry, he wanted the show to go on. Because it didn't happen inside the ring. It happened outside after his match. But it's just a commentating issue, which you can place in another country, which he did not. He did it rest on his own.
He had the heart attack live on TV.
Jerry Lawler, Jerry Lawler, he wanted the show to go on. If it was like some falling ring getting hurt, that's one thing. But he wanted the show to go on. He decided after he got his heart attack that he wanted the show to go on. Because it's a live show and, and they stopped it right there. It's not in ring. Fans get mad about that too, but because it's outside the ring, luckily, he didn't die in the ring.
Yeah.
He's dead already, but they had a lot of paramedics on there saved his life then. And
Yeah.
person I respected. Well, let's get the show going. It was almost over anyhow. It was good towards the end, so it wasn't much time left on there. But it wasn't as bad as Owen Hart's. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because Owen's on pay-per-view, and Jerry's on Raw. Nothing against Jerry Lawler on that, but Jerry probably would agree with me that they should have stepped you over the edge, but they should continue with Monday Night Raw because they'll talk about Jerry following weeks after that, which they did.
Yeah. Where were you when Jerry Lawler had his heart attack on that episode?
I see it. I think I don't know what time it happened, but I think it was at work.
Okay.
Or getting ready or going to work when that happened. It was like the second hour, I think it was.
Yeah.
Because I was at work, basically. I had work early that night. I didn't get a chance to watch it, and then I heard about it. I put it up there, and WWE put it on there, showed what happened, and showed a response of what happened. So everybody knew Jerry had a heart attack. So everybody got out of the ring at the end of the match. Some slept over after that. They put that footage on YouTube, which I saw.
Yeah.
But when they did Owen Hart thing, they put no footage on there.
Yeah.
Because that was
So-
the right thing to do. But
Yeah.
I'm
So.
saying that's totally different issue. Totally different issue.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what was going on with me at that time was I was at USM at that time, and during that time I was doing the USM Wrestling Fan Club. I was the organizer of the fan club events and things, and
And you're wrestling. You're wrestling at time of the organization show. That had to be that.
yeah.
You had to be wrestling at time. So you're a former
Yeah.
training.
We had everyone show up there, and it was a pretty sizable group, and it was a tag match that happened that was going on,
Yep.
and all of a sudden, the commentary just goes fading off, and I just look up and I'm like, turn to one of the guys, and I said, "Hey, something doesn't seem right here. Is there's something going on with the TV or something, and they
No,
said,
what when he like snorted, trying
yeah,
to breathe, and then passed out.
yeah, yeah, and
His
I'm like,
breath was cutting off. He
something's,
gasped a little bit,
yeah,
like a pig noise or
so,
something, and then he passed right out like
yeah,
sick.
and I was thinking, something's not right here, and then when I noticed what was going on through the commentary situation, I immediately knew, oh no, something has happened to Michael Cole or Jerry Lawler. My
Jerry,
athletic trainer's
like let's
instincts.
look off his headphones to check on Jerry. He didn't
Yeah,
commentate or anything. He ripped them off and looked at that. That said afterwards.
yeah, yeah. And it wasn't very long afterwards where they announced that he had a heart attack and things. And
Right, because the fans were wondering, everybody's wondering, and he said, well, everybody told the arena first during the first break, and then when they got back on, they told the fans on
yeah,
because everybody wanted to know what's going on, because everybody wouldn't,
yeah,
you gotta let people know he's okay, so,
yeah,
but he had, and he's okay,
But-
and stuff like that. That's fans are always worried about something happening.
yeah, yeah.
They
So,
always have.
so for a wrestler situation like that, I think
Right.
WWE handled that perfectly good because they had all the focus in on the ring. And they had the wrestlers do overtime on it to get the audience or the crowd focusing on that and the TV viewers focusing on that more so than the what was going on outside of the ring. And I think that's what really needs to happen in those kind of situations. Same
They
thing.
did with Owen Hart. They went to the crowd during that time. I taped the pay-per-view. I saw they went to the crowd. They didn't show them fall. They just went to the crowd to the interview and then showed nothing in the ring at
Yeah,
all. On live pay-per-view, because I watched them when I got home.
yeah,
After I read the paper about it. I got the paper the next day at work. Like, what happened to Owen?
yeah,
So nobody went home. Nobody came over my place and tried to figure what they showed it or not. They didn't. Just
Yeah.
talked about it.
yeah. So that was very intense. Probably to some traumatic event.
Well, but there's two gross things ever happen in wrestling. You know what they are. The sickest things you ever seen happen in the ring. Injury-wise. That wasn't supposed to happen, but it did. Like two instances I know.
We do need to talk about the injuries. So there was the Seth Rollins injuries.
That's not the one I'm talking about.
Okay.
That was not a real injury. That was a storyline injury. Thought he injured his leg for real. They checked it. That wasn't so just
No,
storyline.
no, not that one. The one that.
The other one he did. Oh, yes, I don't know what you're talking about. That's not the one too.
Yeah, yeah.
Here's what I'm talking about.
There's also
Sid
the
Vicious one.
yes, the Sid Vicious, where he
Like, about
does.
Top Rope, he was told by WCW to come up the top rope. He said he did not want to. They threatened to fire him. He did broke his leg.
Yeah,
The other one, you weren't around that time, but when they had like low wrestling on, Wrestling Wrestling, one of the wrestlers was doing a sunset flip. Bone and came out of this arm and showed the bone coming out of her skin. Her arm bone snapped during a maneuver and showed it right on TV and it was roasted into hell.
you forgot one other thing.
Two worst things I ever saw. Two worst things I ever saw.
Yeah, you forgot another one moment with Sabu.
I remember.
What about Sabu?
Oh,
Barbed
Trevor
wire.
always got injured. He always got injured. He
Yeah.
put his jaw together after coming back to a match. He had barbed wire incident. Almost home choking him and Jerry from killed together. He's done so much stuff to his body that his health gave up on later on in life.
Yeah, yeah.
After the health
yeah.
issues started.
So
As all the fundraising and all that started to help him out.
yeah, the crazy thing
He did to
is
himself. He did to himself if he wanted to do it to himself. He did it to him if he
Yeah.
wanted to.
Yeah.
Don't force him.
yeah. the crazy thing is that whenever you talk to a professional wrestler or anyone that's in the wrestling business about different things, and the non wrestling fan uses the F word to them, the number one thing that they'll talk about is injuries. And injuries will happen at any place, anytime, whether reckless or not. Things like that. Injuries happen in the ring at all times, and it's not always someone's fault. Becky Lynch got her nose broken by Nia Jax one time. There's been broken bones, broken limbs, concussions all throughout. Think just random things that actually happen. That Mick Foley, Hell in a Cell. Part one of the thing where he was thrown off the cell. That was planned.
Yes.
That part was planned.
That happening again.
Him getting back up there to back onto the roof of the cell. That was planned. Choke slam.
Yeah.
Was planned.
Yeah.
Him going through the cell roof onto the mat.
And it was unsafe to begin with. It's unsafe to begin with because it wasn't tied with plastic ties instead of the usual ties they tie the ring with. They used plastic instead of metal.
Yeah.
That's what broke. That's the weight.
Him going through the cell roof onto the mat with a chair was not planned.
Nope.
You ask.
They expect them to go on top of the ring. That's why they put plastic on there instead. But
yeah. You ask Undertaker. You ask the commentary team. You ask Mick Foley.
I seen all the interviews. I see them all.
Yeah.
I already know.
They always say that that Undertaker literally had the look on his face like, oh my God, I just killed a man.
You didn't see it. He didn't see it after he did. He was just surprised that broke through his whole neck. And that's when his lip was bleeding, his tooth go right through his nose.
Yeah.
You actually see it after he got slammed.
Yeah.
So hard.
Yeah. So.
The chair him in the face, that's what blood is. The chair him in the face, that's what blood his lip.
Yeah.
The chair slammed down and that's went through the ring through there. Don't forget the incident with D'Lo Brown and Draws when someone threw a cup of liquid in the ring.
Yeah.
And D'Lo slipped on it.
Yeah.
And paralyzed him. That wasn't his fault. He knew the cup was in the ring. The cup was still in there when it happened.
They say.
Someone threw a cup in the ring.
Yeah. They say that there was some kind of footage on that incident. But it's very hard to find.
It was on SmackDown at the time.
Yeah.
It was on SmackDown at the time because they both worked for SmackDown.
Yeah.
It showed a cup in the ring, of some sort of bottle of some sort. There was liquid in it. He slipped. He didn't see it. Just Brian time when the cup got in, and he slipped on it.
Yeah.
You see him go forward too fast before he did the slam. Thought he did the slam, so then he slipped.
Yeah.
He said he slipped. And that's the truth.
Yeah.
That fan threw something in there and slammed slipped.
Yeah.
He didn't like D'Lo.
Yeah.
Some fans are sometimes idiots. Sorry, I'm not being mean, but some fans can be, not all fans, but some fans.
Sting's neck injury. Think about how long Sting had gone in the ring with that pinched nerve that turned into something more severe. I think it went from pinched nerve to like a broken vertebrae or something from that.
That lost his chance. Yeah, that lost his chance from WWE title because he was a match and.
Yeah.
Rollins, no one knew he had it. Only Sting did it. And Rollins hit him in the neck, and that's. Sting didn't even tell him he had it. He didn't want to tell anybody. He wanted to become world champion. That was kind of more important to him.
Yeah.
That's what happened, and then he couldn't do much anymore, so they let him go.
Yeah.
So he went to read till he got better. That's why he hasn't wrestling been too much. That's why he's pushing Darby out at the time to be a better wrestler.
Yeah.
people don't believe in him. He gave him a manager, started wrestling.
Yeah. Another big injury situation would have to be the Daniel Bryan and Edge situations where they had their neck injuries and
Yes.
that forced them to retire. So, for those injuries, do you think that those were chronic injuries, or do you think that there was a specific match where you can pinpoint as to where the injury had occurred?
It had to be, with Daniel, had to be somewhat situation until something really happened. And
Okay.
that promise, he said Tony was okay. And then that last match he had, I think he got slammed or something, and did something to his back. Same thing with Edge. They had that pay-per-view match, and he had to retire. But doctors say he can come back wrestling after like 10, 12 years, something like that.
Yeah.
After he laid off wrestling and laid off everything. Brian can wrestle again, but he decided not to. He's not wrestling as much as he wants to. He knows better. He kind of wants to be like outside man. So he can go in the ring again, but he doesn't want to wrestle that much anymore. He doesn't want his neck hurting. He had hurt twice already. He had 2 neck injuries because he came back. They say it was well, and then he injured his neck and didn't want to do it the third time.
Yeah.
He don't become paralyzed. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So he kind of knows better. See out in the ring. He's still part of AEW, but he's doing comedy and everything else. You know.
Yeah.
He knows better. Edge is just being careful.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not slamming him too much where the neck muscle wear out his neck.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to re-injure him.
So, I also asked Bobby on the podcast, what is the first rule in wrestling and that they ever teach you in wrestling? And he said the first rule is always protect your opponent at all costs.
That's what last week's guest said. Same thing.
Yeah.
Just trust and protect your opponent. That's the one issue.
Yeah, and I do agree with that.
Some people won't do that. Some people will not do that once in a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've seen some people not doing that.
Yeah. Have you seen an actual fight ever break out in the middle of the ring before?
Yes. Rowdy Piper and Mr. T, they both hate each other.
Yeah.
He did not like Mr. T coming into his world. And him and Piper never really got along. He even said himself he wanted to punch Mr. T. And then another incident is when he brought Brother Love and I think Morton Downey Jr. He's going to hit him with a fire extinguisher right in the head. Really told him not to do that. That's why he hesitates. Rose told him not to do it. He wanted to hit him in the head. It would have broke his head. He would have got killed.
Yeah.
I didn't like him either. So, and Christine got real said no, else he had permanent injury. But that's the only times he got mad. You know, like certain things you don't like. You know, he's not a celebrity from wrestling yet because they actually train. Mr. T did not train as much. You know, he didn't train as much for wrestling rings. He wasn't wrestling that much, but like Rodman, he trained a lot before he came on scene. He trained with Hulk Hogan. That's how he learned how to wrestle. So he's, as I say, they are now learning wrestling basics so they can wrestle in the ring and not be, crap. But back then in the 80s, it wasn't a big no-no. But Piper accepted later on that they have to know the business. They have to know the moves before he even wrestles. Do not wrestle anybody that hasn't wrestled that long.
Yeah.
So only 2 really key things I knew Piper did. He even said in his biography, DVD I got. He never liked Mr. T.
Yeah. So, and of course so as a fan, how can you tell when a moment goes from part of the show to, oh my God, this is a real fight situation?
All depends. If wrestlers, one wrestler keeps scooping up, then it turns into real fights. The wrestler will not trust him. But if fan gets involved, that's when you know.
Yeah.
Everything goes haywire from Facebook when they start jumping their rails.
Yeah.
But basically,
So,
you gotta respect the industry. You go in and say, oh, I can wrestle, I can wrestle. Like, for example, the mass transit incident, ECW.
yeah.
And the kid said he was wrestling, and he wasn't. He wasn't a wrestler, he was underage. It was his fault he got in the ring, not ECW, not New Jack. It was his fault for saying that, lied about his age. Back then, Paul didn't look at everything.
Yeah.
He's wanted to start a place after Rock. And the guy looked like he was an adult. But when he finally realized the kid was underage, he was PO. He thought this conversation was shut down. He turned out, shut the pay-per-view down for a few months because of it. The first pay-per-view shut that because of it. And then basically, everything settled out of court. Police the ones that sued, not the family, the police. And he was acquitted because the kid was underage. The kid went in, what this says, he wanted to wrestle. He told him to cut him. And that's what made it. New Jack acquitted from all charges of malicious assault because the kid told him to cut him. If you didn't say that, that assault right there. But
Yeah.
that's what happens. You don't know nothing in the ring. You don't know nothing about the industry.
Yeah.
Don't go in. You're not worth it. It's not worth everybody.
Yeah.
If you get hurt, it's not think like people say, oh, it's big. Oh, yeah, but these are athletes. These are not just people walking off the street. Oh, I can wrestle. I can wrestle. No, I know because one of my relatives was married to an indie wrestler, and he went from being a figure four regular. He did, so he could figure four regular. When he jerked, I felt pain in my leg. I said, oh boy, when you jerk it, that's how it looks real.
Yeah.
Is when you jerk it, basically. You have to jerk it to pull the knee up and it gets the effect.
Yeah.
But you just put it on there, it's not going to affect or nothing. So you put me a few times.
Yeah.
Not again. I know not want to be, if it's that painful, no way. That's the only time, it's a failure union knows I'm not there, so I learned not to do that. So I had a sore knee for a week. It wasn't injured or nothing. I don't think it was now, but it was a little sore for a week.
Yeah.
So I learned my lesson.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not training, don't do it.
Yeah. And
So I learned my lesson on that.
yeah, and just so y'all know, on this show, we try not to expose a lot of the secrets of wrestling. It's just that if there are,
But three, four leg locks been done it for years.
yeah,
And
but
it was done for years before, prior to that. That's the secret of the 3 or 4 leg locks when you jerk. Everybody
yeah,
know that.
yeah. So
But everything else, I don't know.
yeah. So
I know, but I'm not gonna say it.
the thing is with this show can be mostly educational for those who want to be wrestlers to know exactly what the secrets are. You can even watch things like Maven, where he goes into more in depth as to behind the scenes.
Or you watch the LFG, Legends and Future Greats on A&E. They show you how
Yeah,
show you how the wrestling is. They show you
Yeah.
the maneuvers. They show you on
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
All secrets are on there now. Every secret in the world's on there now. So.
yeah. Majority of the stuff that we talk about is already out there. Overall, so
Right. Therefore, it's already out there for
if you
years.
message, and of course, I've gotten some messages from wrestlers saying, "Hey, you're exposing this stuff," and I'm like, "No, this stuff has already been exposed before."
Yes. The figure
Do
four leg
some
lock
more
was exposed-
research.
Was exposed by certain wrestlers after everybody thought we knee injuries because
Yeah,
when Matthias Santana a long time ago, he has knee injury. He was jerked because when you see
Yeah.
the pain, you see him go back. Everybody knew you got to pull the knee. That's how the figure four leg. Everybody knew that for years.
yeah,
Ever since then, everybody's known that. It's no secret.
Yeah.
Pile driver was same thing before that got banned. The hard punch, that was totally banned after years of using that. That's a bigger move. A lot of these maneuvers, everybody knows because some people told me before indie wrestlers that told me the secrets on that. And, everybody knows secrets on these by now. Almost every maneuver, except for the newer ones they come up with, they know it. If the newer maneuvers come up, we don't know. So they want to expose it.
yeah.
And the older ones,
The
yes, they know
craziest,
everything. Sleeping holes, everything else.
yeah, the craziest thing,
So that's what we're talking about.
yeah, the craziest thing that I had to learn wrestling wise is when refs have to do their own things for their different promotions,
Right.
when there's a sleeper hold, they have to check the thing to make sure that there's enough room for the airway. As in, they're
That's
not
another
putting
secret I
a
think.
full sleeper hold on there.
Yes, but there's one more secret I'm not going to mention, but one
Yeah,
more secret in the head that people might know. People, I'm not going to say what it is. They haven't supposed to yet, but I figured it out. Because on one of my fire calls, the guy was putting a sleeper hold on the guy, and he told me that it's something else you got to do besides that that's hidden. That you can't see the person actually doing it.
yeah,
And they're really knocked out. No phony. They are really knocked out cold.
yeah.
I'm not saying they're a secret, but people out there know what secret is.
I
They know what I'm
mean,
talking about.
yeah, yeah. So,
It's not just the airway that speak up, but something else
yeah,
happens.
yeah.
And it's like,
But
something else,
somewhere,
knock them out.
somewhere in a wrestling handbook or wrestling rule book, there's a rule in there where you're not there's a certain amount of torque for the sleeper hold that you're supposed to have. You're not supposed to have it full on to where they turn blue.
No, no,
Yeah,
no. That's the secret. That's the little secret. Because like the one more thing I'm not mentioning, but that what knocks them out. What else they do? The secret don't knock you out. Something else they do knocks you out for a short time, and then they hit you in the back of the head to get the blood flowing again. Basically, I'm not saying what it is, but you might know what I'm talking about. If you don't, I'll tell you later.
yeah,
Or off.
yeah.
I've learned that from actual wrestling.
Another thing is that their punches. Their punches are supposed to be like this. And this has been like a this has been exposed since like 80s and 90s. And yet,
Yes.
the crazy thing is that I watched a match from the 1980s one time, and it was a guy was just punching like really stiff, and the referee went on to him and he shouted, "Hey, your punches are too closed. You know, no close punches, no close punches." And the commentary's like, "Yeah, he's doing a close punch that's not legal. He could get disqualified for that."
Yeah, that's they always do the close punch thing. They used to always do the eight. Just
Yeah.
bad guys.
Yeah,
They're
and
told to do. They're told. Wrestler tells them to do it. Wrestler can't handle it, but he fights.
yeah, and
tell them to do it to make it more real.
yeah, and
Referees don't know nothing to do it.
yeah, and when they tell you no close punches on live TV or on the screen and things, and the commentary actually confirms, yeah, that's not a legal move. That hurts the illusion of their punches that they're actually throwing, because if they throw soft punches, there's really no real effect of them in things. So while yes, in today's world, we know it's just a show for entertainment and things, we would rather it to also be a sport to where we can not suspend our disbelief for the illusion. Don't hurt the illusion of, yes, this is an actual wrestling match. Make it into an actual wrestling match, because remember, it is still listed, wrestling is still listed as a sport. It's not listed as a show or drama or comedy or anything like that. It's listed as a sport.
Right.
You don't need to be, and that's why if they're going to go with the kayfabe aspect of wrestling, You know, if you're going to keep it in there, limit it to where everything actually looks real enough to where we believe that kayfabe no longer exists.
Right.
You know, it, because at this point you're either at the point of either everyone knows that everything's going to be kayfabe, all the stories, all the news articles, and all that is going to be kayfabe, or
Right.
you're just going to have to get rid of kayfabe altogether and make it into an actual sport at this point. It's kind of hard to do one or the other, or mix both of them together,
Right.
because
Right.
everything in there is exposed. Now, as far as the wrestling moves, doing them as safely as possible, you can kayfabe that shit. We don't care. You can kayfabe that. Protect your opponent as best as you can to make it as a safe sport. You can do that. You know, if you want to do a move and tell the opponent that you want to do that move beforehand, do it. You know,
Yep.
do it. Let them do it on you. Don't just say, "Oh, I'm going to do this move," and let them block it and completely embarrass you and embarrass the match itself and make it from a 5-star match to a half-star match, you know, because of what all y'all are doing. You know, I mean, this is not. This is professional wrestling. This is not Olympic style wrestling where you're in a little circle on a little foam mat trying to throw them out of the ring situation. You know, this is professional wrestling. You have to have finesse. You got to have an entertainment value to where people would get interested in the show that you're putting on.
Right.
You know, that's what differentiates this from any other sport.
Right.
Last week, Masters was on here and he said that he thought that, you know, what if football was kayfabe, basketball was kayfabe, other sports were kayfabe, because a quarterback throws an interception. How do we know that it wasn't already planned? I refereed football for years. That's why I do the Broken Goalpost podcast. I'm a former referee for them, for football. And I also was a coaching major for that. And working with the coaches themselves,
Right.
you know, there's some things that we have as coaches have to do in our association, referees and coaches. Referees, they are just average people, average everyday people that have their own separate jobs outside of football. They don't even interact with any of the coaches at all that they referee. At all. So they have no idea what's going on in the game until the game happens, until kickoff. Everything that you see on there is exactly what a referee sees. That's all we see. Now, coach's perspective on things. We have to And, I've been on the sidelines as a trainer, as a coach, everything. You name it. And
A player coach?
do what?
Were you a player coach? Were you a player coach?
One time I was a player coach.
Okay, then you did everything.
Yeah. Almost everything. Only for one play I was a player coach. But, that was about it.
You did that, so that's
Yeah.
included.
Yeah. So, are
you sure?
and that was for flag football as well. But anyway,
Okay.
So what goes on with a coaching perspective is that we have to focus in on the play itself. And what I've done whenever we're on offense, whenever we're on defense, I actually look at the offense, look at their formation, and if I see a trend to what they're doing, so let's say they're on a single back T-wing formation where there's 3 wide receivers on one side and a tight end on the other. And all they do on that side is do a play action to the middle wide receiver.
Right.
This has actually happened before. They run that play about 5-6 times in a row.
Right.
The same play. I go to the defensive coordinator and I draw down the play that they're doing to the T. I then go on to the other side of the paper and I draw the defensive formation and say, okay, here's what we need to do to counteract this play because they're throwing bombs and they are smoking us every single time and scoring. Here's what we need to do. Blitz here. Have this linebacker act like he's going to blitz, but he goes into zone coverage and cover this area right here. Make it look like he's going to blitz and get the running back, but he actually backtracks and goes into coverage. And right when he goes into coverage, the quarterback's going to throw the ball. By the time he gets into the coverage, he should be able to get there and make the interception. And he just looks at me and says, we're going to try this play one more time. If this doesn't work, we're going to go with your idea. It doesn't work the other time. Next play gives the information to the players. He goes into fake blitz, goes back, picks the ball off, runs it in for a pick six. He turns to me and says, we're doing this play from now on. And I'm like, good. And I do call it the man zone blitz. Yeah, the man zone blitz perspective. Because we got the cornerbacks and the defensive backs in man coverage, the 2 safeties in zone, and the linebackers go into a blitz coverage formation to where they're either covering a guy they're either going to blitz the quarterback or they're going to go after someone in the backfield.
Okay.
that is the scheme that I have designed. Someone else probably designed it as well and has it named something else. I'm pretty sure by now, but that's the scheme that I run on defense most of the time whenever I coach.
Let people know we're still talking about wrestling in football, for example, just in case you get mixed up.
Yeah. So
But
this is my response to someone asking if football is fake. And college and high school, the answer is a straight up no. NFL, I cannot say. I never did coaching in the NFL. I never refereed in the NFL. I never played in the NFL. I cannot answer that question with 100% certainty. And with the way that gambling is right now, I can't even answer that at 100% certainty because we don't know what's going to happen with that. So,
I get into football.
Yeah. So, swinging back to the wrestling thing, with that, if you're going to go with bets on wrestling where everything's kayfabe and we have these betting things for wrestling events like Prize Picks, FanDuel, and I think there's like one other betting thing, DraftKings. Y'all advertise wrestling for y'all's show, for your betting events, and wrestling has always been pre-planned for all the outcomes, and you're saying do this. Well, if there's a planned match where it's already out there on who's going to win the match, you're already losing a ton of money on those bets because everyone's going to be betting on Roman Reigns winning that match because he has another match for the championship later on at a bigger event. So, really and truly, betting on wrestling, you're losing money more so than you are gaining money unless you try to fix it and hurt sports itself. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so against sports gambling as a whole, because it could cause people to fix the outcome of the matches.
All right. I can say about NFL. NFL is 100% real. They are really, they are really hurting each other, really doing the passes, stuff that's fake. It's all 100% real because a lot of people get injured. Injuries on the football field, it's real. It's fake won't be too many injuries every season like they have been. A lot of these injuries are totally real, football totally, but the XFL was fake.
Yeah.
The XFL is predetermined. I've known that for a fact. There's a lot of people were working for Vince, but XFL says it's all predetermined, it's all soap operas, just like wrestling. It was all fixed. It was not real, it was fake. Nobody really got hurt. That's why you knew XFL was fake, because no one got hurt on the field. You knew it was fake. Because real, people would get hurt. No one got hurt on there.
Yeah.
So, that's why it failed. It wasn't realistic football, everybody knew it. That's what almost tarnished football right there.
Yeah.
That's why you knew football was real, because they were comparing XFL to NFL time. See, it was real, not. And Bob Flair said it's real. So, NFL is totally real. XFL is not. And Vince said it's not real, it's just entertainment. That's all he said it was. Iraq knew it wasn't real. I think they got these amateurs instead of pros playing on the field.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
The people that have played football at all were also on those teams.
Yeah.
Figure that
Yeah.
one out.
Yeah. Yeah. So. Yeah.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. So.
Not fact, that's what I heard.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So. Our.
I don't know if those are real. 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. So. On to the next topic for discussion on Wrestling Gets Real is can you think of any kind of gestures or any kind of things that lingo or something that would be said on commentary done by a wrestler or referee where you would know that this is not part of the show? I can only
Brian
think of
Pillman. Okay, go ahead.
yeah. So I can only think of like one or two things, and the biggest thing is the X. When referees do the X thing, that's when you know that something went out of plan, and something really bad happened there, and they threw up the X. Is there anything other than that you can think of that would get people to know that, hey, this is not part of the show without it being blatant?
Like I was saying, the WCW incident before Brian Pillman left was really just kind of solvent. He got behind Bobby Heenan, but I just say the F word right on the air. But replays, you can bleep it out. If Brian, he didn't know Brian Pillman was going to touch him. Brian Pillman was so unpredictable at the time because he's on drugs and stuff. No one knew what he was doing. He was already perfect for WCW. He had it that last match. He ran by him, ran up to say, "Fuck!" and ran off.
Yeah.
Because he thought Brian was going to hurt him. That's the one incident that was totally real. Because no one knew if Brian Pillman was fired until a few weeks later when he got on ECW. Then you know he was fired. But that actually did happen on live TV on Nitro. This is before the NWO came in. Brian was just uncontrollable, no control of him, WCW or WWE, and spiral out of control losing his career after that ankle injury.
Yeah.
And the gun incident, that was not set up. It was supposed to be Brian bringing him home for nothing to do it. Brian came up with the gun. No one knew about, not even his wife. It wasn't a real gun. It was like a BB guns.
Yeah.
It was actually an actual gun. Vince did not know that was going to happen. Nobody knew. It was Brian's idea. Well, like a sort of BB. It probably was a real gun. There was no bullets in it. But basically, everything else was set up except for the gun. That's what surprised Austin. You see Austin surprised his eyes. That's act before the gun went off. That was an actual surprise. He didn't even know Brian was going to pull the gun out. Nobody knew. And that's when something like that it's not happening ever again.
Exactly.
Vince didn't even know he was going to pull the gun. Nobody knew he was going to do that. It was just a surprise. And his own wife. Austin was supposed to come in, beat the guys up, don't get to come in, and then his wife was stood between them, but that didn't happen. Brian did things his own way. That's another shock right there. That's why something like that is never going to happen again, something like that.
Yeah.
That's one thing that was surprising to everybody, that it was going to happen.
Yeah. So.
For the gun.
Yeah. Another thing on, and I've talked to Mick Foley about the Hell in the Cell incident while I was at the Comic-Con. I generally, when I talk to Mick Foley about things, I try to avoid like the commonly asked questions and things.
Yeah, I think he started after.
Yeah. And he just loves talking about the commonly asked questions. And, the only question I had about the Hell in a Cell thing is that if you could go back in time and right before the match, what would you tell your past self on that? And he said, remember to wear brown pants. And
that's something Mick would say.
Yeah.
That's something Mick would say.
And I just stood there for a second and was like, brown pants? Why brown pants? And then it kind of clicked on me for a second, and I was like, oh my God, did you actually...
Let's see him grab grab your pants right through your pants.
Yeah.
That you can't see it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, you actually.
I knew it right away when he said that. He
Yeah.
said I knew right away what he's talking about.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God.
That's old school. That's old school talk. That's
Yeah.
old school
Yeah.
talk. Right there.
Yeah.
Now you guys don't know what it means. That after a while you know what they mean.
Yeah.
You say
Yeah.
stuff like
I was thinking he would be. And for that question, I was thinking, yeah, he's going to say, man, this is going to be the most memorable match of your entire career. You're going to cherish this.
They didn't even know until they had it. That's what he
Yeah.
said. It was just a regular national match, like a few spots, but they didn't know it was memorable.
Yeah.
They did not know about it.
Yeah.
We still talk about things very
Yeah.
big.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean,
I wonder if Keith is going to be real coming up. The Hell in the Cell. I wonder if it's going to be real with the Five and Brock Lesnar. I think the torch is going to be passed. I feel they're going to pass just the Five and take over because he's not wrestling much anymore.
yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. If I go win or lose, he's going to pass the torch. If he wants to face someone, if I would face someone like his size, you know, he faces a lot of people, you know, not from say athletic background, but both of them say athletic background. Now, that's the same, but close to it. They can both try to go at it. That's what he wants, someone as tough as him to fight equally sized that way. He, you know, he decides to pass the torch or pass the torch. He's a great wrestler. I mean, he's a badass.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of his matches.
Yeah.
He's 100% badass.
I mean, if Brock Lesnar's going to pass the torch, he's going to have to pass it to someone like Obafemi. He could pass it to Gunther as much as he can, but you know he
It won't work. He's got someone that's like him that knows he's going to carry the weight.
yeah.
That's why he came back to do that. He said, you know, he's been watching him wrestle, him wrestle for a long time. He kind of wanted to
Yeah.
wait a little bit, and the right time just come after him.
Yeah. Yeah. And
It's gonna be a good match. I want if our Hell Cells were real, I wonder if this is going to be a real match or not. That's what I'm thinking right now.
yeah. Yeah.
Lately, some of me Hell Cells haven't been that real.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
They're going to make it all balls out, or they're going to just, you know, go with the flow. That's what I'm thinking. Some Hellcat matches were real, some were not.
Yeah.
But I've seen.
Yeah. So, yeah, I've talked to wrestlers on here about this topic before, and you know they're all in agreement that wrestling does need to be a little bit more realistic on that aspect.
Yes.
And I kind of do agree. Yeah. And
keep people into it, because
yeah.
they'll see the fakeness in it. Then they'll know it's not legit.
Yeah.
That's why the wrestlers just keep falling apart and closing, because they won't make it realistic enough.
Yeah.
Not
Now,
close.
and I think that we've actually talked about this topic on the part one, and that is submission holds. So some of the submission holds I've discovered could actually be a little bit therapeutic more so than painful. So let's say you have a bad back or something, and someone puts you into the Boston Crab. There's some parts of the Boston Crab technique that can actually stretch out your thing, like your back, as if you're in a chiropractor's office. So you know there's that.
They don't do that. They don't practice that anymore on chiropractor. They don't. They just push their hands down. So I went to a chiropractor for a few weeks. All they do is push their hands down and put both in place. They don't do like Boston Crab anymore, because that kind of hurt the neck also the most.
Yeah.
Because we pull back, also pull back the neck muscle, but you get injured in the neck. That's why you don't practice that anymore. I don't see too many people. That's Boston Crab, but you know, like the camel clutch and all that. That's why I don't use those kind of moves anymore.
Yeah.
Boston Crab can help, but sometimes it can't. They don't use that technique no more.
Yeah.
They just
But
pull your leg up, they pull your leg up, push the leg in, stretch the leg out. You know, don't do it backwards going forwards now.
Yeah.
Like I had a back injury, and they did everything like that to me. I said,
Yeah.
your bus
Yeah.
pass, you
Yeah.
won't do that anymore. It's not legal.
Yeah.
It can really hurt someone. Because
Yeah.
some people got injured during that. That's why they don't practice that anymore. By practice office. So
Remind
just,
me.
just pull your legs, push your legs, push your back muscles, push your chest
Yeah.
muscles. You know, the bones back into
Yeah.
place. Basically, what they do. It hurts, but
Yeah.
it works.
Yeah. Now, remind me. You saw the episode there. Re, Remind me whether or not I left this in the show because there were some things that I had cut out due to time and things, and
Which
some of the
one?
stories were a little bit embarrassing. But did I leave in the part where we were talking about a submission hold and the guy that was performing the submission hold um, was near the opponent's ass, and he accidentally, and because of the tension of the submission hold, the guy released a big ass
Yeah, yeah.
fart in their
Yes, it
face.
is in that episode.
It
It's
is
still
in
in
there.
that episode. I read that. I laughed my ass off again. It's
Yeah,
still in that episode. You kept that in there. That's the one you kept in about the passing gas thing.
yeah,
Same thing with Rikishi. Did it sometimes he did the butt thing.
yeah,
He does the butt thing with the butt. Sometimes he farted.
yeah,
Intentionally. Make it stay a little faster.
yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you did leave that in. I remember
Yeah.
that. I still laugh
Yeah.
about this today
Yeah.
when I see it.
yeah. There was another embarrassing moment that happened to Bobby that I'm not even going to mention
Okay.
on there. Um, but I'm just going to say that the match did not last very long. But it was a steel cage match. He was with a very well known wrestler, former WWE wrestler, I think,
Okay.
at the time.
Okay.
And he was supposed to be in a match with them. Steel cage. The guy was supposed to come out after the match. He, almost as soon as the bell rings, he does one move and exits the cage, wins, and runs out. And not going to go into any detail as to what was going on, but he says, continue on, I'm out. So, stuff like that does happen.
Probably didn't get the pay he wanted. Probably got a little lower than he wanted.
I'll tell you off the air as to what happened.
I know, but I'm saying what I've seen in my years, when I read wrestling books and stuff like that. Sometimes wrestlers don't supposed to get the amount they're supposed to get. When they found out you have more amount paid, they go in and run out. They don't do the match. They screw the match up. I've seen it countless of times in organizations. I've read about this in wrestling books. Wrestling reporters did talk about wrestling moves and all that back then. We used to have wrestling magazines. They told you everything about wrestling, basically, and try to learn a lot about it. And basically, it was it has happened lots of times. Yeah, I've seen it several times on TV.
Yeah.
Same thing. So that remind me on that. I've seen a lot of times on TV that actually did that on
Yeah.
live television.
Yeah.
Because you see the bunch and you know what they did. So
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of live television, something like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
So I know what you're talking about.
yeah. Yeah.
Makes you
Yeah.
laugh.
So, yeah, we have that situation going on.
After that, they kept the table. They didn't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
They had tights on, so they couldn't look down. They couldn't. They had tights on, so they couldn't look at anything. So
Yeah. So, yeah.
a lot more tights. That's why.
We also get the Jeff Hardy incident with Sting there,
Mhm.
where he came in very inebriated.
He was screwed up. He was all drunk and
Yeah.
all that. That was
Yeah.
actually happened.
And to make things worse, that's the main event. You don't want to do that for the main event, and just have it to be stalled out for them to go over the change of plans and Scorpion Death Drop 1, 2, 3 done. When you have the whole lot of show left to go on
Yeah,
with it.
yeah. Basically, that incident when Sting went against Hardy, everybody knew he was drunk. So he stumbled. Didn't do his usual walk. He stumbled like didn't his dance was off. Everybody knew he was drunk, and he went. And but here's Sting saying, "Stop, Jeff, stop! You're not able." And then Sting knew about it, and Sting made him by himself. So Jeff, I'm gonna make this quick so you won't get injured. Jeff said, "Okay." That's why he did the quick match that quick so he didn't want to injure him, or Jeff injured himself being drunk. And so he let Sting and pin him, and that was it. There's one incident I remember. The old TNA back in the '90s. They had a pay-per-view. I forgot. It was Eric Young against A1, former Canadian tag teams. They had to stop the pay-per-view because towards the end of the match, the rafters caught on fire for like 30 minutes. You were outside the arena while they put the fire out before they continued the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And I think it's still on. If you haven't watched the old TNA footage, find that. You'll see the fire right there towards the end of their match. And then in fact, everyone wants the match to end quick. It was what, a longer match? When they mentioned fire, they made the ending so quick to get out of the building. It was really raging. The white lights grid caught on fire. Somehow it sparked. And leave the arena for 30 minutes, stop pay-per-view, but gave everybody free pay-per-view for the rest of the show because they hissed us after a minute later. They went and continued the matches. But they had no waiting near those seats because those seats were vacant. And put chairs just towards the arena so people can sit down and watch the rest of it. And pay tickets for their seats.
Yeah. Yeah.
That really happened. I'm serious. Find it going to TNA thing, it might happen from the 90s. It actually did happen. Stuff like that could happen anytime. You know? Not knowing it.
Yeah, there was a Monday Night Raw event several years ago where they go onto the air, they do their power technique, and there was an electrical failure, not really related to the pyros, but something to do with the startup of the event itself, that it caused a power surge and it wiped out the power for the entire venue. They were still in the air, but in the dark. Do you remember that episode?
No, but I remember a pay-per-view in the 90s. They had a storm at one of the arenas, and it kept blinking on and off towards the end of the pay-per-view because the power failure kept wetting the. Because back then all the wires were all shown. They weren't covered yet. And wires got wet. It was destroyed. It was destroyed. Power failure. It went on and off with the pay-per-view. Couldn't see the matches. Blacked off. Blacked back on. So then you did the same thing. Get the next pay-per-view to get it for free. Well, they did it, and people had to pay double. I just told them I don't want it. Give me my money back. Because they were supposed to put the second one on for free. People turn out later and pay double because of that incident, and got all the money back from the pay-per-view because of that one incident. It was during Triple H's match that I was going against, and there was another match before that was going on. And it was still on the air, but it went on and off. And he said, "Oh, it's free now," and it didn't become free at all. We got the money back, both pay-per-views, including myself. Because the Kill Company was off on the weekend, and it was all televised, like, set up timers at the time. That's the Kill Company used to put pay-per-views on, set up timers. What time's on, what time it's off. They didn't know about anything the next day. They gave everybody the money back. I forget what pay-per-view it was like the late 90s. So I was living in my first apartment at the time. The late 90s or early 2000s, one and two.
Yeah.
So, and same thing with WCW ended the pay-per-view in the main event because one of the matches were out too long. Did the same exact thing. But they showed the match the next night, but it wasn't as good as what they saw in the arena. So, that was Dallas Page against Goldberg. That's embarrassing. Something like that. Oh, wow. Really blacked out. It's just, the Temple Lake footage, the satellite footage. Connecting the pay-per-views to the TV. So. It's like they have to go on.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Let's see.
It's keep,
We
you keep going, stop talking, if I stop talking, it goes,
we
like,
we've talked we've talked about injuries. We talked about um,
yes,
deaths. We talked about power failures,
drugs,
drugs.
drugs and stuff like that,
Yeah,
suicide,
yeah.
depression, closed fist,
I mean,
farting.
can yeah. Can can you
That's
think
why I have to
of
say that we talk about
anything
that.
outside of the ring that where wrestling may have gotten real? Any instances other than what we've already talked
Yes.
about previously?
He wasn't wrestling, it was an interview. Piper went on the side of the A team and interviewed Mr. T. How much he hated his guts right to his face. Like I said, he actually did not like the guy. But he had to do it for WWE, like it or not.
Okay.
And he did indeed hit Mr. T really several times in the ring. He actually did hit him. He had a few bumps on his head when he pursued with the A team after that incident. That not hit him with. Because, like I said, if you're an entertainer, and sometimes bar fights, like Ming always gets into a bar fight and always wins because they can keep trying him. You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Yeah.
He still gets into fights and he's still tough as there. He won't back up and go. He don't get arrested so many times for bar fights, too many to count. But they mess with him. That's why they never stick. Ming gets on you. You don't have to fight with him. No way. That's but he still fight outside ring for you. A lot of guys still don't know why they're stupid for doing that. That's more realistic right there. And plus, Sid Vicious and Arn Anderson have their brawl, which Sid got cut. Sid had to leave, couldn't be on the per-view. That's why he placed him with Mark, now the Undertaker, in his spot because he's out for a while and he expired because he started it. That's not real instant outside the ring.
Yeah.
Wrestling becoming real. There's a lot of stories, but too many to put on here. Those are some examples. A lot of things that actually happen, a lot of places. Mostly the fans' fault. I'm trying to tell them.
Yeah. And I hate to ask the same question again,
Go ahead.
like this, but do you feel that wrestling is better real or kayfabed overall?
Depends. Depends how the wrestler feels. Every type of wrestler, if you're a stiff wrestler, you're more comfortable doing it for real. If you're not a stiff wrestler, you're just an entertainer, you might want to do the fake stuff. But like I said, all depends what the typical wrestler is. Wrestlers used to throwing real punches, real fights, they'll do it. Not used to those stuff, they'll probably start doing that not knowing it. Because it has happened a lot of times.
Yeah.
People who train not to do that stuff will do the same thing, and
Yeah.
happens. Anything happen in the ring.
Yeah.
It'd be fake, it'd be real, whatever. Not fake, but I don't like saying that. I'm sorry I'm saying the F word. I'm not supposed to say it because the wrestlers not like it. Kayfabe. That's better.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting saying kayfabe. I'm sorry saying the P word, F word, but I'm from the old industry, so I'm not being me. It's what people think. They tell me. But if you do kayfabe, it means you know what you're doing. You know how to hurt the wrestler. But if you're watching, if you're a stiff wrestler actually know how to wrestle and fight, you'll do your way. That's why a lot of fists and a lot of other stuff back in the 80s and 90s were accepted until injuries came more and more, and then you try to stop it. Sometimes it slips. The wrestler gets actually angry. It slips.
Yeah. Yeah. And another thing is some people I've heard a few wrestlers talk about carny language and wrestling as well. We didn't really cover this on the kayfabe um,
No,
episodes or
no,
anything,
he did not.
but
Right,
uh,
let's cover it now.
yeah, let's go ahead and nip this in the bud right now. When you hear them say carny language, what comes to your mind when they say something like that? Like Mike Chioda saying that he talks carny, or a wrestler saying that they do carny language in the ring, or anything like that.
It started at carnivals, how he did the carnivals.
Yeah,
Do the challenges, stuff like that, the way you do challenges, like the way that they did in the carny circuit where it originally started.
yeah, yeah,
Sometimes some people use it, still to this day, some people actually still use it to this day. Like
yeah,
old timers will still use it, but these are the newbies will start using it again. I mean, Brock has used it,
yeah,
Goldberg's used it, even Ron Five's used it over the years because they think they're tough guys. When you're a tough guy, you're used to that language, and language is, defeat this tough guy, defeat me, I'm tough, defeat me, don't defeat me. That's the carny language, because back then, that's when that big wrestlers were really big and strong in the carny circuit before they became a lot leaner and stuff. That's how it was back then.
yeah,
They were big, huge men they were putting in the ring with average guys. That's kind of the carny language, because you talk about yourself, say no one can beat you, you do this and that.
Yeah.
That's the carny language. A lot of people still do it today. It's acceptable. It's been used for a long, 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 long time.
Okay.
So it's never going to go away.
yeah.
Some will use it, some will not.
And what kind of carnal language do you think that a referee would say to a wrestler?
Let's see. Don't make it too real. Make sure it's a clean fight, which never is.
Yeah,
Stuff like that.
yeah,
A lot of times, every time it was real, so wrestlers that never listened to anything.
yeah,
Back in the carny circuit. He really got injured.
yeah,
That's before in the bear carnies, they did two people who know wrestling each other for their team. Smaller circuits, be a strong man. Ever
Yeah.
for be a strong man. They did during the main carny circuits, but the old ones back in the way back in the day when they first started, they did.
yeah, yeah,
Oh, a strong man.
yeah, yeah. So,
That's people ain't good.
not to get into exposing too much of the stuff that's already been exposed, because
I'm sorry to close.
yeah,
Not
yeah.
anything else.
So,
I'm
yeah,
not gonna-
yeah. We're called the broken turnbuckle, not the exposed turnbuckle.
Or busted turnbuckle. There's another thing called busted turnbuckle.
Yeah.
So I keep putting that down all the time. I said, no, it's broken. We finally got on
We're,
Facebook.
we're the
One-
broken turnbuckle
they-
for a reason.
Yep.
We're not called the exposed turnbuckle. That is a completely different podcast.
Yes. That's not us. We're fans.
That is not us.
True wrestling.
Exposed turnbuckle can expose all the secrets of wrestling as much as they want to. We are broken because we are able to break down all aspects of wrestling that has already been out there.
Exposed.
Yes.
We don't do any secrets like that. That's why you thought
We're-
for leg like I said, no, that's not exposed for years.
Yeah.
That's not exposed for
Yeah,
years.
yeah,
Years
yeah.
how they do this. You can actually see the pain on the man later on, like in the 90s, when they were actually showing how they do the fearful like rock slowly. And you saw the person pull back, they said, oh, that's how you do it. That's how you make it real.
Yeah.
You pull the knee back.
Yeah.
And everybody knew that. Everyone my age knows that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's been exposed for a
The-
long time.
Yeah.
So it's tire driver, and that's supposed to have your head down lower, like when Austin got his neck broken. His head was down
Yeah.
lower than it should be.
Yeah.
You got it up above your knees to do the power driver.
Yeah. And this is why we don't have. This is why, since we're doing this on Facebook Live, I have to be very careful as to what we say and things,
Right.
because I cannot edit a live feed.
Right.
We cannot edit a live feed.
Because I've seen it on TV and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
better than wrestling,
Yeah.
but That's how I know experience of somebody's been
Yeah.
that's been exposed.
So
This is from what I saw.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
That's
yes,
speculation.
on all the other shows prior to now, I used to be able to record and edit these shows. Because
Right.
of the technical difficulties on this computer specifically, I am not able to do that, so I have to do it live. So, obviously, if the previous guy was on here, I had to cut out a ton of content solely because of stuff that we would be talking about that he would say on his own that would not need to be on here.
Right.
You know, and it would be good content that would be good to be on here, but I just made the executive decision not to be on there because it was exposing the business to where I was like, look, this is called the broken turnbuckle, not the exposed turnbuckle, not the exposed ring or anything like that. We're if I'm going to do an expose on how things are done way behind the scenes, that you know, this would be good exclusive content that could totally do something or change up the wrestling events. I would have changed this name to something more exposed in wrestling. But all those names were taken. So I'm not going to do that. So yeah, I'm fine with doing it as it is now because this is actually meshing more to my vision of the show. Um, and
I learned over the time, boy, you kind of gotta say, he's told me a lot. I said, I shouldn't have said, back when I first started, he told me, like, you say, well, I cannot say. I said, okay. He
Yeah.
explained everything to me, and then
yeah,
sense. I only tell stuff that I know that everybody knows by now. I'm not talking about any more secrets. We like to what's already exposed. I will not tell secrets I already know. I know a lot, secrets, a lot of maneuvers, but I will not say it. He says I
yeah,
told you.
yeah.
Until it gets exposed, I'll talk about it. If not,
Yeah,
keep it myself.
and you know, and I will share my own personal stories on the topics. And that's the thing that we can do is that we can share our own personal stories. People have done that on their own podcast before too, and
Yeah.
you know that's acceptable and okay. But don't share stuff that is going to expose the business on the show itself. And there's a big gray area to that, but the things that I'm saying that you don't need to say is stuff like I'm trying to think of a good example that I had to cut out on one of the things.
Was that on there? Was that on there, or was it by yourself? Let me cut this out.
We may be able to do an example of what you did. There was a situation where you were complaining about
Yes.
WWE like way early on, and I was like,
that I told you to do that. I told you to do that because that was my idea. After the cast, you want to cut the TXT and NXT things out. You can. I just had to get it on my chest.
yeah. We'll talk about that example
Cut it
there.
out. That's why I was glad you cut it out. So I told you after we stopped the broadcast, cut it out if you need to.
Yeah,
I had explained. I just told you the reason why after I did that.
yeah.
But I'm fine with that now. Just
Yeah.
got out
So,
of my reach. That's why I had to cut.
yeah.
That's why I told you to
Yeah,
cut it in the
yeah.
first place. So.
yeah. But yeah, there were several different things that
Cut me triple out.
that I've talked to different people about on the show, not just Mike, not just, with all the guests that we've had on the show. And one of the things that was said was that since it was pre-recorded, if you tell me to cut it out, I'm going to cut it out.
Yes, I actually do that. Trouble again.
And most of the time that happens is that when I edit the show, I'm listening to it while doing some other stuff as well. That's the first part I'm doing. Is I'm listening to the whole thing to see what all needs to stay, what all needs to go. I make the executive decision on what stays and what goes. If I hear the words cut it out, I immediately go straight over there to the computer, hit pause, rewind, and I look for exactly what was said, and I cut it out. Exactly. And most of the time, because of my bad memory, I probably don't even remember what it was about. There's some things that I do remember what it would be about, but I'm not going to talk about what it was about. And, I'm using this as a broad sense because almost every guest, except for the last one, was the same way. Because last week we were live on Facebook and things. Now, there were some things that were not recorded because I was transitioning from Clipchamp, the thing that I used to record for YouTube, and on here that it just did not record. And I was trying to get it back on to record. The problem was that we were not at a stopping point to get me back on there. So that topic had been cut out of the entire thing.
Yep.
And I was not very...
It's not exposing anything.
Yeah. We were just talking.
Behind the scenes, we're just talking about the wrestling. That's all we did.
Yeah.
Nothing bad.
And when it comes to no topics barred, we literally mean no topics barred. So, no topics barred means that we can talk about anything and everything on the show.
But we gotta be careful. He said last week he didn't want to talk about all the stories, which we respected that. Some stories are not meant for everybody.
So,
that's just what we want to keep stories themselves.
Yeah.
You don't even know.
Yeah. So, when there is a topic or no topics barred, before I do no topics barred, I ask them, is there anything that you do not want to talk about? This is your one and only opportunity to talk about anything that you do not want to talk about on the show. Because if I have to look up something for research and I run into it and you don't tell me to not talk about it and I see it, I'm going to talk about it. So, is there anything that I need to know beforehand about you that we don't need to talk about on the show? Is there any kind of legal issues, any kind of things that's going on? Because there's like three different rules.
We do it, Don, but Don told us, so I'm going to keep to myself, but there's one story. He tells us that's what he said. The rest will say that. We don't need to know all your stories. We just need to know what your opinion on certain stories you want.
Yeah, we don't need...
No, we're not going to force you or nothing. We're not like everyone's trying to, why get to all juicy information? We're just fans. Like, I'm the old school fan. We're the old school fan. We got our own views on what we want to talk about. Nothing personal. Not personal
now,
stuff. We'll stay away from that. Now, let's expose what you want to talk about.
Yeah. Now, another thing is that there's such thing as journalism integrity. And that is to make sure that everything's fair for everyone. And, if you say something on our air that is not known for anyone else, you know, I have to make that executive decision on whether to keep it or not. If it's going to be live, it's going to be live. I'm sorry.
Yeah, just tell whoever
So
next time
if
we're
you
back
say
together,
something
just tell
that you were not, that you kept secret for a very long time, and you say it live on air, I got no choice in the matter to keep it. Not just keep it, but also let some other people that do their podcast be on there, and I have to figure out a way to talk to them and say, hey, I got this live stream with this live wrestler, well known. They just said something here. I want you to take a look at it, and I want your advice as to what we should do about it. So, for example, if someone actually admits to a murder or something
that no one knows about.
that no one knows about, this is something that I learned from my parents who were journalists. So, let's say they did something, that someone did something and actually admitted to a murder, and it's on live TV. And you're sitting there in the editing room, and you have to, by law, you have to take a look at the moment, and you have to make an executive decision. And the first thing that you would have to do is you have to report to the police as evidence. But secondly, you have to talk to other outlets as well to let them know, hey, I got this story, I got this moment here. Do you think this should air or not? You know, is there any kind of legal things that I need to be aware of for this, or do you have any information on this moment? And that's when you see all shit hit the fans on different things, such as weddings, like when People magazine comes out with news on a wedding situation or news on things like that. They get it from an interview and they find it out, and then they report it to other entities to see if they can actually report on it, and they come up with a deal on all sides as to what they can say and do about it. And that's where all of the breaking news that you see come from on that. And that's why they call it the Associated Press. It's not just one outlet, it's multiple outlets working together to get that one whole story straight, to make sure that they're not missing out on anything and whether or not it should be public knowledge or not. If it's not supposed to be public knowledge, they're not going to publish it. I know several different stories that have not been published around. So, anyway, any final thoughts on real wrestling?
Well, it just depends on what's going on, who knows about it. Basically, realize this happened. It happened behind the scenes also. Like a recent episode where I think it's with Cody, and I think I'm not sure if that match from last weekend, I forget who got sent home. That was a real incident because he said Sammy should never won the match. He felt strongly about it, and Cody let him win at it. Back in the back area.
Yeah.
And other stuff that's happened behind the scenes we don't know about. Because back in the 80s, they didn't talk about what backstage, why wrestlers were fired or not. They didn't expose that until like the 90s. That's when they exposed it. About how people get fired because certain things happen. But in the 80s and 70s, never said anything like that.
Yeah.
If the wrestlers are fired, they're fired. They're gone, they're gone. Some of them stay home. No reason. Fans didn't care back then in the 80s or 70s, so. The 90s, they started caring.
Yeah.
At that steroid thing with Vince McMahon, we started caring about the wrestlers' well-being. But sooner or later, it's going to be real, it's going to be fake. Whatever happens, happens. Depends on the wrestlers.
Definitely.
So, that's how it's been all 30 years.
Yeah.
Happens.
Yeah.
Say about that.
Yeah. And also, for the record, I've also deleted some of my stuff that I've said on here as well on the recording, so it's not just exclusive to others. It's also includes me as well. But anyway, my final thoughts on Wrestling Gets Real is yes, there are real aspects of wrestling. We do need to have realism in wrestling overall. Kayfabe's not completely dead. It is a dying media for wrestling, sadly. But we do need to have kayfabe still alive, most parts. And I think that we can have the kayfabe limited to like promos, movesets, stuff like that, to make it more entertaining. But if you're going to use kayfabe on a real wrestling show, to where it's going to be it's either going to be one or the other, or if you're going to put kayfabe in there, you got to put it in either mid-match or at the end of the match. You can't do both right now.
Right.
You know, do it to where, you know, still do the moves safely to where no one gets injured or hurt, and you know, and of course, if someone's going to play injured for kayfabe reasons, you know, make it believable. Make it.
Has been a long time.
You know, but at the same time, no one likes that. No one likes fake injuries.
I know, but you know, wrestlers feel sometimes. It's not that bad, then it gets worse.
Yeah. But you know, stuff like that happens. You know, but yeah, I agree. Wrestling needs to be more realistic with a lot of things, because we hate the F word. Fans hate the F word.
I said it accidentally because I'm a classic person, so if I say it, don't get mad at me.
Yeah.
Talk back. So get mad at me, go ahead.
We hate the F word with a passion. That's why my key question is the forbidden question. That's why I call it the forbidden question.
They ask all the time. Why keep asking? Beat out its misery. Everyone's already answered that question.
Yeah.
Why do you keep asking it? You know, it's buried underground.
Yeah. So the reason why I asked the question, the forbidden question, is not just because we've heard it all the time as fans.
Yes.
But also to get the person's perspective as to how to answer the question. Why do you love the sport so much? Why do you love wrestling so much?
It's entertaining, and it's on all year long. You don't have no breaks or anything. Football, baseball. It's entertaining. You get to see different people wrestle. Also, you see new people coming in every now and then.
when someone,
Stuff like that.
yeah,
See,
when
the someone
someone
who loves it,
asks
it's
me,
entertaining. Keeps it interested.
yeah, when someone, when I was in college, a lot of people would ask me, why do you love this FA shit? And I would just be like, why not? Don't you know there's,
Why guys like watching soap operas? Why guys like
yeah,
watching football? Why guys like watching baseball? It's
yeah.
because it's entertainment. You get yourself into it. When you think wrestling, when you think all that
What,
just is not just
what, why
baseball, football,
should,
it's just entertaining also. You know,
and,
and
and
also not just
and
it's
the number
interesting.
one thing that I would say is, why should I care if it is or not?
Yeah.
Why should I care?
It's like a TV show, basically. Why do you think some of the violence in TV shows
Don't,
are showing violence? You love
and
violence, but some people don't. Or some people like certain comedy, investigative stuff. Some people
yeah,
don't.
yeah.
Everybody's
I
got their own
mean,
opinion.
I even asked them,
What's the only thing will be like? Get
why
team
do you
on.
watch your movies? Why do you watch your
There
movies?
you
Why
go.
do you
That's
watch
amazing. I just think
your shows? And
that
they
means
were like,
some
I don't watch
about now.
TV. I don't watch those.
They like to watch The Walking Dead. Oh, it's entertaining. You know, like the violence. It's like, there you go.
Yeah,
It's all violence, but you love watching violence. So why do I have to? I don't like zombie movies, but I don't watch a lot of them. So I'm mostly gore, no story. The only one movie I ever watched is the Romero's Night of the Living Dead, the original. That was
yeah,
scary without being violent. But now he's got all these violence and blood and all that. I've seen enough of that crap. I don't need to see gross stuff like that because I know it ain't real. And I've seen it in real life what it looks like. It's not that pretty. So that's how you know, you know. Ever seen anything violent in your life that you know what I'm talking about? It's not that great. It's really gross. And
exactly.
movies just make you grosser, but grosser with all the stuff they use. Make it look real, it's not even real.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm trying to line to those violent gore movies. I like my story with a horror movie, not just all the gore. You know, get a story with it. That's gonna make sense. You don't do that anymore in a lot of movies.
exactly.
Peele's doing a lot. Peele's doing a lot of like that too in his movies now. He's making a story before the violence. Underground Familiars are doing that now. No longer gore. They're giving you a story first, then the children. You know, a lot of underground people have been doing it now. The mainstream people have just been showing gore.
Yeah,
No story. You look
yeah,
at some of the underground stuff now. You see really good filmmakers coming out. Good stories,
yeah,
bloody violence, but it is a story,
yeah.
not just
And,
showing
and
blood.
and believe it or not,
My opinion.
this is also behind the scenes of this show, of the podcast, is that I've asked, is there any other questions that should be my most answered question for the show? And you know, this show is not that big anyway, as big
And we're
as
not
it seems.
beyond any people. We're still under a certain amount.
Yeah,
When
yeah,
you're on
yeah.
YouTube now,
They're,
we're off YouTube now on Facebook, where you can get more people.
yeah,
You got more
yeah,
people.
yeah.
That's
They're
big on
I
YouTube, on
mean,
Facebook.
it's not that big of a thing, but I
The
do do.
common channel on YouTube. That's what they mostly watch from now on YouTube videos. Now they found it
Yeah,
on here. We started last week. They're now asking us when the show's on. I had to tell them the show's called. They find it on YouTube. That's why
yeah,
we got a few more people added now.
yeah.
A few more people
So
watching it now.
yeah,
So
yeah.
if we keep
So
doing this way, we might get more viewers for YouTube.
yeah, yeah. So I looked at behind the scenes though. I would go on to all these groups and all these other platforms that have a lot of wrestling fans on there.
Right. Right.
And my thing to them is, with me starting this podcast and things, I want this. I want, whenever I interview a wrestler or whatever, I need to have a signature question to ask them as my closing question. What should my closing question
Right.
be? And I give them a list, and I'm open to different suggestions. And overwhelmingly, out of all the questions I asked, provided to them, and private messages, DMs, polls, everything, majority of the time, they said, your signature question needs to be the forbidden question. And right when I made that decision, I was like, Why am I cursed with this question? Just why?
Mine goes right off the top of my head because I know the history of these wrestlers. Like if I tell my head as a fan, I don't get too personal. That's what I try not to do.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what we did last week. I asked like basic wrestling questions of the fans, stuff like that. What happened to them? Incidents that happened way back that we remember that you weren't around yet, stuff like that. Or some of our viewers that are fans today don't know about that actually did happen, actually publicized in the
yeah,
workplace. Like when they talk about the Bruiser Brody thing, nobody knew who this guy was. They looked him up. I said, "Wow." I said, "Yeah, he's a big guy. He would have been a major champion, major roster, WWE or WCW."
yeah,
To his death, but
yeah.
sometimes they'll say, "We don't know this wrestling." They need to be and they tell me, "Wow, that's cool."
We
do
forgot to
not know
mention
about
that on this episode, the Bruiser Brody incident. Oh my God.
Yeah, because no one knew. Everybody heard of Bruce Brody, but didn't know who he was till we talked about it. And then some people started watching old stuff again and said, he was a great wrestler.
He was on Dark Side of the Ring. Bruiser Brody was on Dark Side of the
I
Ring.
didn't watch Dark Side of the Ring at the time. Because a lot of wrestling fans, because they talk about Dark Side stuff, but Star fans don't want to know about it. When they found out after we did the broadcast, where everybody talks about it all the time, other broadcasts, but a lot of other
We didn't even talk about
wrestlers that were there.
Dino Bravo.
Fans actually looked it up on YouTube. I actually looked up YouTube and contact people. Oh wow, I did not know that. I looked at some of the dirt sheets. People talk about it, they look it up. I'm sure fans that really loved it. Look up the old stuff. That's why the old stuff's getting so popular. Nobody's talking about it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why the old stuff's getting so popular.
The Dino Bravo incident. Remember
Yes.
that? That's the time that wrestling got real. You know?
Yeah, that's the era. It's the era was starting to get more real because the Carl thing was starting to die down in the '90s and it got more real. Because some of these wrestlers actually didn't want protection like the old wrestlers did. Because the old wrestlers had the old guard in the '80s, when the '90s, it turned really real. It went real matches, stuff like that. He brought this on his own. He left the wrestling business, did his drugs, came back, left again, continued with the business.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
He wanted to make money for his family. That's the reason. But he got
Yeah. But in all honesty, yes. The Dino Bravo incident is something completely outside of wrestling. So yeah, you're right.
Get out of it. Unless he tried, he could not get out of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about the incident with Adrian Dempsey dying in that car wreck?
Yeah.
When he was traveling in Canada. That's another one they talked about. And he was a good wrestler. He might be funny and that, but he was actually, early in his career, when he was taking on Jesse Ventura, he was actually a damn good wrestler before he got overweight.
Junkyard Dog died in a car wreck.
He actually come back to his daughter's graduation, if I remember. Our son's most of the graduated once. He's come back and he got that car wreck.
Yeah.
Also, people don't know about. They see the Hall of Fame, so they want to know more about us. They look at the old videos. Why you think old wrestling is so popular today as it was back then? Because people actually want to see some of these matches, want to see some of these wrestlers they've heard about, see how they work. Since 1995 is when it started becoming the classic wrestling when the Hall of Fame started coming on.
Yeah.
That's when people started going on other sites before YouTube was even on there. YouTube didn't start like about 2 years after that. People were looking in wrestling magazines trying to find these people. They're tape traders too who were around back then. You know, trading tapes and seeing what these wrestlers were. And then when YouTube came out, wasn't much wrestling stuff when then WWE came out with their like this and all the classic wrestling put on YouTube after that. People started watching it and started getting the old stuff, thinking the old stuff was the new stuff. As people discovered what wrestling was back then. And what the fathers of these wrestlers are, or former wrestlers who are now commentators were like back then. See how they wrestle. They said, wow, this is great.
Rick Rude.
A lot of people like that now.
Mr. Perfect. Big Boss Man. Umaga. All guys.
Kevin Nash. Bagwell. Raven. Norman Lunatic. He was before he was about to sing again. In the Independent days.
All those wrestlers that I just named.
All great wrestlers don't stir it up every month and month.
Yeah. So all the wrestlers that.
Looking these wrestlers up.
Yeah. So all these wrestlers that I just named on here, just now, those 4 or 5 wrestlers that I just named, before Mike came in and
Yeah,
named
sorry.
all these other
Anyway,
guys that are still living, were all wrestlers that were in either coming back into the wrestling business or were trying to make a comeback somehow, and they all died from a heart attack or drug overdose um, within the reach of this topic.
some people are wrecks were car accidents. Some people dog's car
Yeah,
accident.
yeah.
McDonald's car accident.
Some died in a car accident, some die of a drug overdose, some just have a heart attack. Yokozuna,
Not just drugs. Anything else.
Yokozuna is a very unique exception because he did not die of drugs or anything. He wanted his gimmick to be the heaviest wrestler in history.
He kept eating.
And he kept eating and eating and
He had
eating.
diabetes. He found out he had diabetes he was not known about. He had diabetes were also contributed to that.
Yeah,
See,
and he
they
died.
basically caused him diabetes. He didn't know he had diabetes. He did not know that.
He died due to obesity.
Yeah.
The
As a
cause of
diabetes
death on
part
his
of
death
it,
certificate is obesity because there was so much health problems wrong that they could not pin it all on one thing.
Well, with me, I had cancer last year. Minor cancer was too great. It was colon cancer. Took the things out. It was causing my overweight issue and my stress issue, and it was causing my liver to have too much fat. My kidneys starting to shut down a little bit. I caught it in time. I changed my diet. I lost a lot of weight. So I'm just trying to stay healthy best I can. But I might have it sooner or later. There's no way of stopping it. It's just a short notice. We got out in time. That's the first issue I was dealing with. I'm now feeling better. Everything back to normal. Hopefully, I don't get too late in life. I'm too late for me to go right now. Still young, so that's just something I had to deal with last year. It went away in February because I had no symptoms. So when we get checked out in October, make sure it's gone for the next colonoscopy. Get colonoscopy. You might not know what you have. That's very important. That's my first one, and I did not know I had that. Luckily, they got it in time.
Yeah.
So I'm very lucky to have that.
Yeah.
That's only a little thinner than I was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now look what I am.
Yeah.
I
So.
hear myself now.
Yeah. So other than that, please like, share, follow if you're on Facebook, subscribe if you're on YouTube, comment. This has been in live form, and I've been seeing people go in and out on here. So, obviously people have been watching.
Think what topic is, and then they want to watch it later. They know we're recording it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what they want, because they missed the whole thing. They will watch the whole thing later.
Yeah. So, I put down the topic on here. Y'all know what it is. Y'all see my feed on here. Y'all know what to do. Just like, share, comment, especially, and once we get more people coming on here and able to share on the Broken Turnbuckle page, as the Broken Turnbuckle, y'all can comment as much as y'all want to, and I may actually come on.
Or if they have a topic that we haven't covered, and it's very interesting, we'd like to cover it, you can mention a topic. But we have to be agreeable. We can't do certain things. So a topic out there that you want to hear us discuss, we might take that into consideration too, because sometimes we have to figure out like 4 or 5 topics, and you have to figure out which one we're going to do. So you never know. It'd be nice to have kids want a topic they want us to talk about. We don't talk about it, we don't. It's what we Jeremy wants. So either way, it'd be fun. The fans get into it. You know what I mean, Jeremy?
Yeah.
See what topics they want us to cover that no one's covered.
Yeah, exactly.
If we do something like that, to help us out a little bit, keep the thing going. Keep everything fresh.
Definitely.
Might be interesting too. Some people fans have a topic they want us to discuss. We consider that too. That's up to them. That's all I gotta say. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Yeah. So, yeah. We have not come up with the topic for next week, but we will. So please like, share, follow, subscribe. Since you're on, if you're on YouTube right now, whatever. Yeah, this has been DJ08, Classic Mike.
That's Matt here. Till next time.
Yeah, thank y'all and goodbye.
There, folks.